Make sure you put some bass in it.
Oh.
Yeah, put some bass in it. Any day now.
And we back. Welcome back to the 2% Podcast. I'm Kiambu Fentress. We got
Bro Coleman.
Harry Ray.
Oh my goodness. We got a Hall of Famer in the crib today. Hall of Fame. Our first Hall of Famer in the crib so far. We got a 3-time All-American, Freshman of the Year. We got a SEC Tournament MVP, 2-time Academic Honor Roll. What else? 2017 Ohio Valley Regional Player of the Year, Sydney freaking Campbell.
Yes, sir.
What's going on?
What's up?
Hello. Thank you for having me. Y'all are going to make me blush.
Oh, okay. Well, so people don't know tennis, okay? So we're talking about tennis. And so let's talk about, your recruiting journey, how you got to Vanderbilt first and foremost, and just how did that come about, and give us a spill on that.
Yeah, so I think my journey is a little different than most. I grew up here, 30 minutes away in Franklin, Tennessee, and I was a big tennis fan, big Vanderbilt women's tennis fan growing up. I actually met Coach McDonald, who was my coach. He's a legendary tennis coach. He's now retired, but his daughter played tennis, and she was around my age. In my first tournament ever, I made it to the finals, and I played against her. And I met him then, had a relationship with him. And so I kind of grew up wanting to go to Vanderbilt my whole life until around late middle school, early high school. I was defiant. I am not going to Vanderbilt. I'm going far from home. I'm going to California. And then, some stuff happened and I really got closer to my family, and I was maybe I want to be driving distance where I could drive home for the weekend. And, my parents made me visit Vanderbilt and I loved it. But I was prideful, so I was no, I didn't like it. And then slowly but surely I realized, no, this is where I want to be. I could have gone anywhere, really. So
she just grazed over that.
Hold on, where else could you have gone, though?
I'll say, so I committed early. I committed junior year, which now is common. I don't know about other sports, but for tennis, it's pretty common. Back then, it was unheard of. Everyone thought I was crazy. But Vanderbilt only had one spot my year. They were only recruiting me. And so out of respect to Jeff, who had given me so much my whole life, my dad said, you need to make a decision by December of your junior year if you're going to Vanderbilt or not, so that it gives them time to recruit somebody else if I don't go there. So I was looking at Baylor, Duke. Duke was my dream school. But I went on campus, y'all, and I cried. I felt so wrong. Wow. I can't even tell you. I couldn't put it into words.
It looks weird.
It just was one of those things where I felt it in my gut, this is not where I'm supposed to be at all. And I was boo-hooing. I was so sad. I looked at UT a little bit, but I was no. But it's close to home. I might as well look. But I've never been an UT fan ever. So
okay,
it's
making sure
this feels wrong.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was recruited pretty much by anywhere, but those were kind of the schools that I was looking at the most. I rolled out California pretty early. And after my whole, I'm going to California spell, then I was no, I'm not. But yeah, I really wanted Duke, but then it wasn't right. And Vanderbilt felt right. I couldn't explain that either. It was just this gut feeling of sometimes you just know.
You know.
Yeah.
How does recruitment go in general for tennis? We talked with Simone on the last episode, and she was explaining the soccer element of recruitment. Baseball, playing these big tournaments and whatnot, or go to a camp, So how does to get seen, give us some insight on how to get noticed and exposure, to get recruited for colleges.
Yeah, so tennis is really different than pretty much every other sport. So high school tennis is a waste of time if you're going to play in college. A lot of tennis players don't go to real high school because you have to be playing a tennis tournament almost every weekend in a different place in the country, in the world, wherever. And so for me, I went to high school here, and I'm very grateful to my high school for dealing with me missing weeks at a time. They were really, really instrumental in me being able to try to have a normal childhood, but also play tennis at a high level. So with that, the college coaches go to these tournaments, and all summer they're at tournaments. Throughout the year even, they're on the off day on a Monday, the college coaches are going to this tournament, flying up there for one day to see the girls play.
Yeah.
And sometimes they play like close to where your college is. So that's how that's how I toured a lot of colleges too and spoke to a lot of coaches was if I was playing a tournament. When I went to Duke, I was playing a tournament in Raleigh. So we just drove over there and I was able to talk to the coach. Again, since recruiting was different back then, since I was so early, they couldn't really reach out to me until my junior year. September 1st of your junior year, they can email you, call, send you stuff, call you, I think like a certain amount of times a week. So a lot of it was me going to them, but you can give like the mailers, the like little info packets about your school. So I was getting a lot of those. But mostly it was, college coaches coming, watching my matches. You'd see them, they'd be head to toe in Vandy gear or UT gear, Baylor, whatever. And then they talk to you that way, and then they just email. Okay. They'll send you email after email. Some schools would like update you every weekend how their team did, and I was like, great job.
Yeah,
but like, I'm not going there.
Yeah.
Happy for y'all though.
Right.
So yeah, it's very different because they're not going to your high school. You're not really sending in tape. I think some tennis players now send in tapes. That wasn't really a thing back then. So it was just you have to be at the tournament to be seen.
Okay.
Gotcha. So I know in college you all are a team, but in high school growing up, is it a team sport or is it still more individualized?
So in what we call junior tennis, it's individual. In high school, it is a team. So I did play a couple years of high school. I was kind of me giving back to the school for what they were letting me do. I was like, I'll play, and we won a couple state titles, which was awesome. But so that's team, and that was so fun for me because it was like, wow, I get to play for something bigger than myself and with girls and things like that. But in juniors, it's just me out there, and you have no coaching, zero coach. So like when I played Coach McDonald's daughter when I was 7,
did you win?
There was no, I did. There was no coaching allowed. But we were 7, and it was like a little local tournament. And so he asked my dad, like, can I help the girls keep score? And like introduce himself. But I was like, sure, we don't know anything. Like, that's fine. And so like he did coach us. But as you get more serious tournaments, national opens, things like that, you're on your own. It's the best 2 out of 3 sets. So if you split sets, meaning if I win one, the other girl wins one, you have 10 minutes in between the second and third set, and I can have coaching then in those 10 minutes. And the pros, it goes back and forth. Like some tournaments they're allowing coaching, some tournaments they're not. They're trying to figure that out. But that was a huge adjustment when I got to college and how to coach on my court. I had to learn how to be coached in a match because my whole life it was just me. I had to just figure it out. So that was definitely an adjustment for sure.
How crazy is like the junior, like I guess junior tennis circuit? Like I know travel baseball is crazy, but I can't imagine like tennis. You guys are going everywhere.
Yeah. So some people were going to junior Grand Slams. Yeah. So like Wimbledon, Australian Open, US Open, and French Open all have junior divisions. I did not. My parents were like, heck no. But I was traveling everywhere. I mean, California, Florida, everywhere in the South, everywhere in the Midwest. Like I've been to majority of the 50 states. And they're never in like cool places. Every once in a while, I did go to Vegas at 15 for a tournament. Okay. That was fun. But they're typically in your small town, and it's crazy. I met girls who this was their whole life, and their parents had never let them go to a sleepover or a birthday party. And here I was in school, in high school, and they're like, "What's that like?" So it was crazy, and I'm very thankful to my parents that they sacrificed a lot to allow me to go to school and play. And then, the junior level gets to a level where it's good, but then unless you're going to go overseas, which my parents were going to pay for that, also high school couldn't do that, you start to play the professional tour. So it's very similar to the minor leagues, but you work your way up. Like nobody tells you. You just have to by rankings and winning and stuff like that. So I did that in high school. I played the pro tour as an amateur to get me ready for college.
Okay.
Cause I was going. I think everybody y'all seen King Richard?
Yeah.
No, I haven't seen
You
it.
ain't seen it?
No.
But
You gotta watch it.
Yeah,
Wait,
very,
hold on. You
very
haven't seen
good.
King Richie?
Bro, I've been. Hey, come on, hey. Go ahead, bro.
Nah.
It is disrespectful. I'm
That
not gonna
is-
lie. You
I've
ain't
been
seen King
busy.
Richard.
Busy.
It's on my watch.
Bro, it
list.
came out last year, I think.
It's
It's
been
on my
out.
watch list, bro. I'm gonna get there.
Anyhow,
That's disrespectful. I'm just gonna say that
Stop
right
talking.
now. That's
All
disrespectful.
right.
But go ahead, boo.
Yeah, you gotta stop talking. But anyhow, so when does a person decide to go pro? Because in that, like, she was doing juniors, or
Yeah.
she was doing juniors, and like he just kind of like wanted to wait it out, not burn her out as well. Like, so you were doing like the junior circuit, but decided to go to college. So, like, how does it work? You just want to go straight to TV, you know?
Yeah, so I made that decision at 13 years old that I was going to go to college because I wanted to go to high school. And if I was going to go pro, I could not go to high school. So, and I don't like making big decisions. I'm much better at it now, but like that was hard. And obviously my parents, like, I mean, they didn't just, they helped me, but at the time it felt monumental. I was like, I'm deciding my whole future now.
Yeah, 13.
But that's basically what Serena and Venus did, you know? And I could have just gone pro and not done it, but for me, having a normal childhood was really important. You know, normal. It was not normal, but trying to be social and having friends and things like that. And so you decide really when you're good enough. So like you go to these tournaments, you play amateur and you sign something. So all the money I got was like a reimbursement of our expenses to get there. So it was like a form you'd fill out of how much gas. So they did like this is not right, but like 30 cents a mile or something for your gas. Then your hotel receipt, and they gave you like a $35, I think, $35 a day for food. So then how many days were you there? So that was kind of how they figured out the reimbursement issue, so that I was never making money, but I could take a reimbursement, if that makes sense. So a lot of people will do that, right? And like see how they're doing. And then if they're doing really well, then they'll go pro. A girl, Cece Bellis, she actually just had to retire because she had injury, but she's younger. She's probably like 24, 25. She was doing that. She got into the US Open and was playing as an amateur and literally won like 2-3 rounds, like was playing outrageously. And she was committed to Stanford at the time. And she said, no, screw it, I'm going pro. But like, I mean, she was good at the time. She was good enough. Yeah. So a lot of it's like that, right? Like you get the opportunity and you do really well with it and you decide, I'm going to go pro. It's a big decision.
Yeah. So how does like I guess we talk about the financial part of it, because I know you kind of hit on it just now, but travel ball for baseball is very expensive now. It was then, but very expensive now. And someone was talking about soccer and the travel. You just mentioned that you guys got reimbursed. Was it you got to win to get reimbursed? So you got to come first just to get reimbursed. So what? If you come in second,
no. So you win. You get money per round you win.
Oh,
so like but okay, listen.
You get put on the first round, you going home sad with no money.
Yeah. Now, okay, U.S. Open, Australian Open, you get like 50 grand for losing in the first round. Okay, so like, but that's the top. That's major leagues.
Okay,
right?
I got you.
We're talking minor league, you know?
Yeah.
Like you're not. I think one time I won 4 rounds and got $90. Yeah, and you're spending money like. You are, thankfully, my parents were spending money, but I was playing against girls who like, they were playing for dinner that night. They're from Europe who came over here who have no money. And if they don't win, they're not eating because they're grinding.
That's trash.
Yeah. So I had to learn real quick that I was like, oh, this is a different level. Like I'm going to high school and my parents are paying for me and whatever. And like, they were playing with a different kind of hunger.
Yeah.
And I had to like really step up my game because I was like, oh, this is not juniors anymore. It is, I mean, it's a grind. It is an absolute grind. And a lot of tournaments do have host families or like you try to make friends with people. And so like my friends who are currently grinding it out on the tour, a lot of them stay together in hotels. So it's like 4 girls in a hotel room so they can save money. But yeah, you are spending money and then hoping you win enough to get that back and make some at the same time.
Damn.
Yeah.
And that's it.
I don't even know what to say.
13.
You really
It's
either win or I don't eat. Like
yeah.
But that's real. Like kids don't get it even for like baseball. Like when you look at the kids that are over the Dominican, Puerto Rico, Venezuela, like they're coming here to like bring their family off the island. And so kids over here, they're playing at 12, 13. They're like, oh yeah, I'm just playing with my friends. It's like, okay, yeah, you are just playing with your friends, but like just know you got a 12 and 13-year-old across the water that's like, I'm playing to get where y'all are because I need to get my people up out of here. So it's like these kids, they got to understand that it's not.
No, that was real.
It's for real.
I was told, my dad and my coach coming to tell me that all the time. It was like, especially when I got a little big-headed and, you know, the ego started to get there. It was like, do you ain't that good, bro? You know, like, you ain't that good? I was like, man, who? You know, it's like, so you're not competing against these people in Nashville or Atlanta. Like, you compete against people who got 10 brothers and sisters across the island who don't have to go to school. They up from 5 a.m. I met a guy this year, 2021 Pro Ball, with the Phillies. He would tell me his regimen. It was 5 a.m. at the field, and he wouldn't leave until 5 p.m. And so he would bring breakfast, lunch, dinner, and snack, and he would be at the field for that long until he goes on repeat, just so he can come over here and play professional baseball. That's
crazy.
Different, you know.
Oh, yeah.
The academies crazy.
Yeah.
A lot of, and for tennis specifically, a lot of tennis players in college tennis are international. Because think about it. They work harder. They work way harder. And so it's like, okay, and they want to come over here. They're hungry to come over here. I have a friend who was born here to play tennis. Their parents, internationally, born here to play tennis. It's like a different pressure. It's a different, all of it. I could never understand it, but by playing those tournaments so young, I was exposed to it, and it made me work harder for sure. And it's a problem we have here with American youth of just being spoiled and entitled and not realizing, you know, how hard you need to work. And I was just lucky that I was exposed to it and had parents who didn't have necessarily blessed childhoods like I did, who, you know, instilled that in me and told me their stories. And then I saw it from other people. And the girls I was playing who were 21, 22, just grinding it out, had nothing. You know, I was like, oh, I need to be very grateful for what I have. And that if I lose, I'm going home to a nice hotel room and a nice house. And I got school tomorrow and whatever, you know? And so it's something that I wish everybody could learn because it's really good for you. Really good perspective.
Where did the inspiration to play tennis come from?
So I don't know. I was 4.
Also, I'm sorry. Was it always tennis too?
Oh yeah.
So it was you not a multi-sport athlete?
I tried. I wasn't very good at it.
Buns. What you tried?
I tried basketball.
He buns at basketball too, so it's
terrible.
Hey, bro, chill out.
Terrible. You guys, it's so embarrassing.
Like, can you dribble and shoot, or you just?
No, I can dribble.
Okay.
I can't really shoot.
All right, both of y'all, you stop because neither one of y'all could play.
He the worst black hooper ever.
Well, y'all know Becca.
We said Vandy.
My roommate Becca Dahlman was, you know, a McDonald's All-American basketball player, and she would take me to the gym and be like, Sydney. I'm like, I know, it's so bad. Okay. I can throw a mean football though, because it's the same as a serve. It's the same exact motion.
Oh. Okay.
And I used to throw the football 5 minutes a day for practice to warm my shoulder up. So like, I'm good there, and I can catch a football. Flag football in high school.
Oh, you were that
I was
one?
good. I was good.
Okay.
Any other sport? Not really. I'm not bad at baseball. I'm not bad. My dad played for the Reds organization.
Okay.
So like I'm not terrible at baseball, but anything else. So I did like a little bit of t-ball. I did basketball. I did a little golf, a little volleyball, but like I didn't love anything like I love tennis. I wasn't good at anything like I was good at tennis. You know, we joke that that I was destined to play because I was born at Centennial Hospital and the delivery room overlooked the tennis courts at Centennial Park. And then there's pictures of me as like a 2-month-old on a tennis court because my parents loved to play. They were both very athletic. They loved to just get out and play as a hobby. So there's like all these pictures of me on a tennis court and like all these little ties to tennis from before it was ever like on their radar. But they would watch Serena and Venus all the time. It was just always on. And so they introduced me to it and I just loved it. Absolutely loved it. So.
I mean, you just brought up Serena and Venus. Talk about being a black woman playing tennis. Talk about what those two mean to you still today.
Yeah. They were everything to me when I was little. My dad's business partner back in the day went to some convention or something that my dad didn't go to, probably because he was coaching me. And I think I was 9, and he met Venus in the hotel.
Wow.
And got a picture with her and got her to sign and like write me a note. And it was the coolest thing. I treasured that forever.
9, huh?
Oh yeah, I was like, she knows who I am. she wrote me a note. She took a picture for me, and which was really kind of him to do that for me. But they were everything. I'm built like Venus, so and then obviously seeing girls who look like you. I'm a little lighter, having a white dad, but still, this is close enough. And just seeing what they went through. Also, my dad was my coach, so seeing that their dad was their coach was everything. And I do have a funny story about me and Richard. So I went to the US Open at 11 or 12 years old, and which was huge deal. My parents, I was like, yes, I get to go watch them play. Yeah. And there was a tennis pro here in Nashville who resembles Richard, and he had said that he was going. And so I was like, oh, we'll see you there. And I cannot for the life of me remember his name. We'll call him Joe. And I'm outside Arthur Ashe Stadium, which is the big stadium where they play, the Stars play. And I see Joe, and I run up. I'm like, hey! And I give him this huge hug. And my mom's like, Sydney, get back here. I'm like, what? And she's like, I'm sorry. And he walks away, and I was like, why are you apologizing? And she was like, that was Venus and Serena's dad. Yeet. And I just melted. I was so embarrassed. I ran up and give this man a hug, and he played it off so cool. He knew that I thought he was somebody else, and he just pretended. Well, and I was like, I am so embarrassed. Yeah. So embarrassed.
That's crazy.
Nice man, though.
Have you gotten to meet Venus or Serena?
No, I've seen like their little posses at the US Open when I go visit Ashtra Sharma, who's my teammate. I go see her play there. And so I'll see them sometimes in like the players' lounge, but never the two of them. It's a bucket list item.
I mean, let's talk about just like the diversity in tennis today. To talk about baseball just a little bit, it's gotten a lot better for sure. Especially with high school baseball. And
a little bit.
Y'all don't think so? It's gotten better.
What, diversity? Since we was coming up?
Yes.
No, bro.
Maybe I'm just looking at Atlanta.
I feel like
that's the one.
I'm just looking at Atlanta. How many black people play baseball?
I feel like because I grew up in a black city, it was different. But I don't know. I think it depends on who you ask. Honey, I feel like it's not getting better. They're trying to do more, but I don't really think it's getting better.
What about like internationally?
Internationally,
is it about the same, or is it like
they
international students coming here?
So with baseball, all the international guys, most of them come from the Venezuela, DR, and Cuba, and things like that. They get signed when they're 16, and each major league team has an academy over there. So once they get
$1 million academy,
they play about a couple years over there. Then they make the transition to the rookie ball over here and things like that. Okay. So it's not, you don't really get a lot of guys coming from the DR to just live in the States.
Yeah,
it's starting to become a little bit more of them doing that because you can potentially get drafted here and get more money versus when you sign internationally, you get less money. So
it's like Vince Condi, he came straight from Puerto Rico, right?
Yeah, Puerto Rico is not.
It's not the same.
I knew them growing up. He was living in Orlando.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So they came over. They would go back and forth, but they did most of their stuff over here.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I guess just speaking on just the diversity in tennis, how. I mean, I've seen since being in Serena, I've seen maybe
Coco Golf.
Coco Golf. Sloan.
Naomi Osaka.
Naomi Osaka.
That's the only one I know.
There was I
The
saw
guys.
one. What's that you played this year?
You don't know. On the guy's side, you got what's his name?
Francis Tiafoe.
Yeah.
I love Francis.
Him.
Good friend of mine.
What's the guy who played in the championship? Some say he has an attitude problem, but I love him.
Oh, Curious?
Yeah.
Nick Curious?
Australia?
Yeah. Oh, he's Australian.
He's
But
Australian,
he's
right?
still black, right?
I don't.
Or is he
I think he
Greek?
might be more of an I don't know. I actually don't know.
Anyhow,
Yeah,
so
he does have a little.
And
bit.
you know, the fact of the matter is we over here
Yeah.
fighting to see
Exactly.
how
more.
many.
But
Yeah, you know, tennis is a very expensive sport. It's a country club sport.
yeah.
So
facts.
I was in a unique position where my dad owned his own business and he could coach me. We saved a lot of money there. He was my coach for most of my career. We built a court in our backyard, which when we did that, I was like 7. It was a lot cheaper to do that than it is now. But that paid for itself with my dad being my coach, right? We didn't have to have membership. We only had a membership for indoor courts like in the winter months when it was too cold. So with all that being said, like you're not gonna get as many kids who grow up without money who aren't playing. Yeah. So like even the girls who are, or the girls and guys who are more diverse, like typically had money. And so that's a thing that's going on now is like trying to get into inner city like programs and get them into tennis and really other sports, but like give them access to sports that they wouldn't have otherwise because it's so expensive. Like the coaching's expensive, the court time's expensive, the travel.
Break it down.
Like
give us some numbers.
Oh, I
Estimate.
don't know. I mean, just think about travel right now.
Yeah.
How expensive it is. I mean, maybe
Too much.
Southwest. You can travel them cheap.
Hey,
But you know, it's
shots fired.
you have to drive places. You've got to pay for hotel. Even if we price lined hotels. When I was playing this pro tournaments, like it's one and done in the pro. Like if you lose, you're out. And juniors, if you lose in the first 2 rounds, you go to the consolation draw. So you get more matches in. So you're there pretty much the whole weekend. But my dad would price line a hotel for one night. We were checking out every day.
Yeah.
He was like, I was like, why would you do that? He's like, because if you lose, we're driving home. I'm not paying for another hotel night. But even doing that, it's really expensive, right? And so when I think diversity in every aspect, financial. What did you grow up socioeconomically? Yeah. What diversity by race, nationality, all of it. So like we have a lot of diversity in terms of like nationalities. We have a lot of people from a lot of different countries, a lot of different backgrounds within those countries. But for American players, no, not really. I mean, Naomi Osaka is a good example. She is Japanese and Haitian. Yeah. Well, I mean, she's gonna play for Japan. Yeah. Right? Yeah. She could have played for the U.S., actually. I think she was born here. She's a citizen. But at the time, it was better for her to play for Japan. And obviously, she's one of the most profitable athletes in the world. But yeah, like, there's not a lot of people in Haiti who are able to play tennis. I mean, it's controlled by gangs now. But speaking of, my friends have an organization in Haiti, and once it is safe for everyone to go back down, they've wanted me to go down and do a tennis camp there with the kids and teach them, like, again, bringing a sport to them that they would have never. There's tennis courts in Port-au-Prince. Never would have known. But there are courts there. Yeah. So we'll do it one day. But yeah, I mean, there's not a lot of diversity because it's a country club sport. And if you think about it, most people in country clubs are white. That's just, and how it is. And so I know like Jeff McDonald, who was the coach at Vanderbilt, is really big into that right now. Really big into trying to make it diverse, starting with young kids and going into these neighborhoods and such that have tennis courts and bringing programs to them. So that's something that hopefully will start up soon. But
that's dope.
As you make your transition to college, we came in together. Talk about your welcome to college moment, whether it was a moment with coach or older player, like kicking your ass at practice or anything like that. For me, I'll say it was our first weekend week of condition or whatever. And, I'm from inner city Chicago, like trying to be a tough guy. We doing like some sprinting drills or whatever, and like I sprint through the line and like I start to slow up because I beat everybody and I turn around and like looked at everybody and then of course like got on me like, hey, we don't do that shit here. You can take your soft ass back to the south side of Chicago, and I was just like, oh, it's different here.
Yeah.
So kind of give us experience.
Yeah. So for me, it's a little different just because I had played those pro tournaments and had kind of that like revelation, like we had talked about. My like, moment was playing like my first match. So I came in and played one in the lineup as a freshman. We had some girls who wanted to kind of tell me what to do or have the hierarchy of college and the captain and you got to do that. And I said, nah, like truly.
Yeah, cool.
I didn't say this, but I was thinking to myself, like, you could tell me something to do. And if I don't agree with it or I don't want to do it, I don't have to do it because I'm playing one. So coaches aren't going to kick me out as long as I'm doing my job. And it was never stuff like, oh, you need to like run harder or anything like that. It was just like stupid stuff about like the team and hazing and things like that. Oh, and I was like, I'm not doing that. Like, I'm not scared of you. I'm not anything. I've been playing these girls who've been hungry for dinner. Like, I'm good. So I didn't really ever give in to that. And I was more of like I can still be a leader as a freshman because I'm playing one. Like if you look at the courts, I'm in the center. And if I have a bad attitude, it can ripple down. If I have a good attitude, it can ripple down. That's just kind of how it is in team tennis. So, I was not bossing people around or anything like that, but I was doing my thing. I was not going out as much as other girls. I was playing tennis late at night. And listen, I went a little overboard. I needed to like have a happy medium of like, Sydney, you can go for 30 minutes and enjoy being with your teammates. Like, it's not all about tennis in school. And we learned that balance later on. But yeah, I was like, I'm going to do my thing and I'm going to be really good for this team. But with that being said, and throughout the fall, like it's individual like play in the fall. So you're playing tournaments, but it goes towards your individual ranking. And then in the spring, starting in January, so like next week, the current team will have their first tournament. That's when it's match like team play. That was a awakening for me. I was like, oh, because not the first one, but the fact that every single match I played was a good player because I was at the top. Oh. Whereas like growing up, sometimes you could work your way into a tournament a little bit, like you may play a little bit of a lesser team or a lesser person here and work your way in. No, you got to become ready to play every single match. And that's what, I had learned in pro tennis. And that's what my dad was trying to teach me in pro tennis. But it's just still not the same until you get to college and you're, it's still different. And so, yeah, that was my big moment of like, oh, snap. And then I lost a lot more than I was used to. And I had to learn how to lose, like of not freaking out because I'm losing, right? Yeah. And what can I learn from this? And how can it make me better? Instead of just being like, oh, well, I just win all the time. And because I did. I won a lot. And losing when you've got a team behind you, that's hard. That's really, really hard. Like in high school tennis, I never lost. So I had this team, but it's like if you guys decided you wanted to play high school tennis, no.
I never lost.
Not one time.
No,
never.
No, hold on.
You guys could have just played high school tennis, right? You could have gone at your high school and just been like,
we ain't had tennis.
Oh,
okay.
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean. You know what I'm saying? Like you could have just
I could have gone off
of the team and played. Anyone could play.
That's true. I'd have been.
Anybody could play high school tennis.
Y'all don't do cuts.
I'd have been hard.
Yeah, but we have like 20 girls on our team. Like it's just not the same because high school tennis has no bearing on if you're getting into college. Like it just doesn't.
You're just out there.
College coaches do not care how you are doing in high school tennis. So. For me, it was like, I didn't even play all the matches. I played the amount of matches I needed to play to be eligible to play state. And it was so fun and I loved it. I didn't go to practice, nothing like that. And because I was doing my own practice.
Show up, get my dub.
Sure didn't
I'll see y'all.
And so, but I had never lost with a team behind me where it would affect a team, That was hard because college tennis is 3 doubles teams and the team that wins at least two of the doubles matches gets 1 point. Then you go into singles. And you've got 6 singles players. And each match is 1 point. And it's first to 4 points.
Gotcha.
So, like, it really matters if you win or lose. I mean, sometimes it doesn't. But, with certain teams. But, like, it could be, 3-3. And the match comes down to your match. And if you lose, your team loses. If you win, your team wins. So it's like, you're playing individually, but like not really, because it affects the whole team and everybody that worked and the trainers and the coaches and everybody. So like that was a different kind of pressure that I had never felt before. And that was really hard.
What type of, does it ever get rowdy in tennis matches? Like when I'm watching on TV, it's always quiet and then they cheer after the thing. But like in college, like is it that you get to play in environments where like the fans talk? Like is there any shit talking going on like between the players? Like what's like how crazy does it get, or is it always just
No, college tennis is more rowdy. I wish that pro tennis players would like chill out. Like you can play if someone's coughing, it's okay. It's not gonna, you know what I mean? Like
that's true.
You're fine. Because here's the other thing. In junior tennis, I remember this one place in Missouri, they were building a whole like apartment building next to the courts. We just played. Like it's construction. They're knocking down wall. I mean, it's loud. Just play. Like it's not the big deal. So when, I don't know why I could talk on that for hours. But so yeah, in college, because you have 6 people playing, if somebody wins, the whole crowd's cheering and you're in the middle of your point. You don't stop your point. You just play. Yeah. Like you just get over it, there was heckling. I got heckled the worst at Arkansas because they were like right on the right. Yeah. Well, it was right after we had won the national championship, and so everywhere we went that year, it was like a big deal, and everybody came out to play against us. I don't know if it was the same for you guys, but like oh Lord. And so the whole town of Fayetteville was there. And the way their courts was like, they could basically touch us when they were at the back. Like tennis, you don't have the same like protection, And so I was like, oh, I don't love this. And so like I was getting heckled really bad. My teammates were getting heckled really bad. And actually, I think they were on the men's team. They were from a Spanish-speaking country. I don't know where. And one of my teammates was from Mexico. And apparently they were saying stuff so bad to me in Spanish that my teammate came over and was screaming at them. And I was like, don't tell me what they said. I don't want to know. And then, I got heckled one time in St. Mary's in California.
In California, yeah.
It was kind of shocking. But like by old men. They were like 50 years old and like heckling. And I was like, what are you? Yeah. Like, you're a grown man. And then the frats were there and like they were heckling me. And it was a really close first set. And I won the set. Yeah. And they left. And I said, where are you guys going? I was having fun. And so you're not supposed to do that. But the ref, I like walked over and the ref high-fived me and she said, don't do that again. But I'm like, are you good? And I said, yeah. Because earlier in the match, she was like, do you want me to tell them to stop or leave? Because like it gets really bad and like they're right on you. It's not like basketball or football where they say something and there's a lot going on. Like you hear everything and they get really personal. And I was like, no, I'm fine. Yeah. Don't do that. It'll only rile them up, right? Like I let my play do the talking, so I didn't say anything. But then I'm like, I'm winning and you leave. And I was like, why are y'all leaving? I was having a great time. So, I didn't let it get to me. My dad heckled me in practice every day. He would cheat me. He would whatever. So nothing in college tennis ever bothered me. Yeah. It gets loud. It gets the SEC championship at home my senior year. Was so sick.
I remember that.
I think I remember y'all
might have been. Y'all might have heard.
Yeah, like y'all started rushing on the court.
Yes, I remember. But it was so loud. We were at capacity for the indoor center because it was pouring down rain. So it's like raining on the roof. So that was loud. We're all screaming, like really into it. But the crowd was like deafening. It was so cool. It was one of my favorite moments for sure.
Yeah, winning. You got it.
No, winning the national championship. Like, walk us through that, like, from the beginning of the year that y'all expect to win it.
No.
Yeah, talk about that.
That was my sophomore year, so it was 2015. Okay. A year after these guys. And I remember, like, texting some of you guys the day of the national championship being like, what do you do all day? So I was so nervous. But no, so we, we started off the year not great. We were 4-4. We hadn't had a losing record in the program for years. And it like still makes me shudder. We were in the LAX airport. We had a red eye back home. And Jeff, our coach, was just sitting there. And he like wasn't mad. He was just so disappointed, which made it worse. And he was like,
that's worse than being mad.
Yes, we were like, could you just yell at us, please? But he was like, you guys have to decide if you want this. Yeah, like, we're going home and we're playing number 3 Baylor, and you're going to have a losing record if you don't actually believe that you can win. And we were like, you're right. You're right. So we went home and we barely won that match. But it was a turning point for us. We did not lose another match until towards the end of the season, which was to win the regular season title. And remember when I mentioned before that it could be 3-3 and come down to your match? Yeah, so it came down to me. I had a match point, meaning if I won that point, we win the regular season title for the first time in Vanderbilt history. We haven't won anything. No pressure. Our program's won nothing.
Yeah.
And I'm not nervous. I loved it. I loved being in that moment. And I lose that point, and then I lose the match. Damn. And I have not cried that hard after a loss ever. And that one stung really bad. But then, and it still stings if you can't tell. But then we had SEC tournament the next week, and we somehow won that. And that was the first that we have ever won. And honestly, I think if we hadn't lost at Texas A&M, the regular season title, I think that we wouldn't have won the tournament or the NCAA tournament. Like, truly, I think it really woke us up. And we thought, if you see the videos and like pictures, we thought we won the national championship. I mean, winning the SEC tournament was like unbelievable. I mean, you guys know it's the same for baseball. Yeah. And I mean, we were so happy. We got the 4 seed going to the NCAA tournament. We were like, who cares what happens? We won the SEC tournament. Like, we're good. And we go in, and our motto, because we played at Baylor for that week, our motto is, it's just another day in Central Texas to play a tennis match. That was our motto, and we just kept winning. Like, we played Florida in the quarters and should not have won that match. I mean, we came back from a deficit. Asha Sharma is full body cramping. We need her and Ashley Ansall to win. Ashley was down and like gets cheated basically and lights a fire under her, and she just turned it on. So she wins. Ashley like goes to the bathroom to try to like stop cramping. She stops her full body cramp. She had also full body cramped like 2 days before and gone to the hospital. And so we were like, it's over, and we were just, I remember me and my teammate Ellie, we were like praying. We were like, God, just don't let her go to the hospital. Yeah. Again, like, it's fine. If we lose, we lose. Like, it's on the rest of us. But like, just please let her like finish the match and not have to go to the hospital. And she somehow wins. And it was like the grittiest win I've ever seen. And at that point, it was over. At that point, I mean, we didn't know it, but now looking back, there was no way we were losing. Yeah. And even the finals, I lost. I didn't do very well. I played really good at doubles. My best doubles match of my entire life. Yeah. Singles was a wash. But that's okay. But I remember looking at the scoreboard and looking at everybody losing, and I was like, you know what? This was a great run. Like, not a lot of people get to play for a national championship. Like, good for us. And, I lose, and then I start looking, and I'm like, oh, we're going to win. Like, we are going to win. And I, like, wanted to throw up. It's like being nervous that you're actually going to, like, do it.
That's how I was. Like, it was the last inning. I didn't go in the dugout, bro. I was in the bathroom.
Bro, what?
Yeah.
Bro, I'm not gonna lie.
I don't know about y'all, but I slept.
No. So it was the inning. It was the inning. It was the inning before. It was the inning before going into the ninth, and they got bases loaded, and I was like, oh shit.
Yeah.
I'm like, they about to bust it up. No, I can't watch it. Then I went in the bathroom, and I heard her start cheering. I came out like, oh, we good.
Right, it was the 7th inning. I started grabbing my water bottle already. I'm ready.
It was different because like once we got to like the third inning, it was kind of like we went up and it was just like
it wasn't really that exciting after a certain amount of time.
Yeah, I can't even talk about it because it was just
tight.
like
it was tight.
Yeah, but see, okay, here's the difference. I think, and I don't know this for sure, but for us, it was the first one in program history. I don't know if that has a difference of like, because the girls played for a national championship in 2018 and they lost. But I think even there, like from what I heard, like it just wasn't the same because it's happened before. So like it's almost like an expectation at this point. Like it was for us at least. We expected to win the next 2 years and didn't. But I think like people expect it now. You're on people's radars now. It's like a whole like I don't know about y'all. It never crossed our minds we would win. Ever.
Yeah, talk to him about
that.
Yeah. I mean, how did y'all feel?
Yeah, because
go ahead, bro.
We never thought about freaking losing.
Same thing, like coming into that year, obviously we expect to win. Like that's what Corbin preaches to us. But like we won, you look at us like we're not going to win a national championship.
Right.
Like, we went to the SC tournament, got our ass demolished.
I that was great.
Yeah, we got demolished.
I was there for
and
that.
Then
Florida.
Then we came back and Corbin went off on us, whatever, and then he kicked us out the field for like a week, and then we like went on a run, and as we got to rolling through, we was like, okay, we got a chance to win it. And watching the whole NCAA playoff, you watching Virginia, and like you see that roster that they had, it was stupid. It was different. Like that team was loaded. Like the first game we won, their ace, I don't think he's given up a run the whole NCAA playoffs, and he shit the bed. Like give up like 8 runs in the first inning, and like we happened to win that game, and they beat us the next game, and then the last game like came down to a wire. And like for me, I don't know how everybody else was thinking. I'm like, this team they can go get on fire at any minute. So I never get nervous or anything like that. But I'm like, oh shit, like we can possibly win this shit.
Yeah.
But within this moment, I'm like, I can't watch this shit.
It's hard. It was just, I don't know. It was just like the thing of like we could do it. I was sick to my stomach. I was so nervous. Oh Lord, not playing, but after, like to sit and watch, because that's the worst part. When you finish early and you got to watch the rest and you have no control anymore. Oh, it's the worst.
That's probably tough.
It's the worst. But yeah, I mean, that's how UCLA is who we beat. And I mean, so, okay, let me backtrack a little bit. There's the USTA, the United States Tennis Association, that puts on like the US Open and things like that. They have basically an academy. And I used to do some time down there and train, but pretty much every girl on the roster for UCLA trained there, which means they were the best of the best in the country. Okay. We just went down and you're like, The girl I played was #1 in college tennis at the time. Like they were just boom. And they had won the year before. And here we were, Vanderbilt. Yeah. And like everybody was like, how are y'all doing this? We're like, we have no idea. Like we are just playing tennis. And so yeah, I mean, it was like on paper, we did not stand a chance. Not a chance. And we won 4-2. I mean, we like honestly kind of crushed it.
That's similar, like kind of not similar, like what you saying in terms of I'm gonna say something different, bro. Watch out. I'm gonna say something different.
Control your face.
You know what I'm about to say. I'm talking about like in baseball, like anybody can be beaten. Is what I'm trying to say.
Oh yeah.
It's like on paper you might be stacked up, and then one year we lost to every team in the state. Like you think about sophomore year, we lost to Belmont, we lost to Lipscomb, we lost to Austin Peay, we lost to TSU.
He was hot.
And he was like, we're not even the best team in our freaking state anymore.
I remember that. That was rough.
Bro, we lost to.
It was either.
It was my sophomore year.
It might have been your junior year. I don't think he was.
One of those years.
Ro wasn't here. It was my sophomore year.
I feel like I remember seeing this though and being like, Corbs is not happy.
Zoe, we were about to beat MTSU. Zoe hit a homer.
He hit a grand slam.
He
hit a grand slam.
They rained the game. The game went to a rain delay and they canceled it.
And his grand slam didn't count.
Oh,
did you get like an infield single that game or something like that?
Yeah, that was a game.
Oh man.
Yeah, we didn't beat any of them.
Beginning of the season doesn't matter though. Like
Nah,
surely
it does. It does
to an extent.
We know it does.
But like you could, as long as you are doing well enough that you can get into the postseason, as long as you are getting better throughout the season, like that's really what matters. Facts. Especially, I feel like so many years I would watch you guys and be like, you wouldn't start off necessarily great.
Yeah.
But then you're like in the finals, you're winning. You're like, you know, it's just aside from that year, I guess the second time you won, when y'all just won everything.
We honestly though, no. We did win everything, but like we kind of started off a little slow. That we did start off slow because Texas A&M beat us, Georgia beat us, lost.
Georgia was in the middle of the season,
but Texas A&M was the
SEC, opening weekend,
and we went in there and it was kind of like, oh shit.
It was not oh shit.
It was oh shit.
No, it was not.
When we left, we were like, damn.
You said went in, not when we left.
All right, when we left.
Words matter, bro.
Every single word I say. Like,
yes, or don't say it.
All right, bro, go ahead. Like I said, when we left, it was like, oh shit. Like we ran through everybody else, and then we got to them. We were like, damn, like this might be a little tough.
Mm-hmm.
That's just his thought. It was not like that. He's just talking right now.
But I think that's great though. Everybody has different like my teammates would probably tell you like different stuff that like I didn't feel or that I don't remember or whatever. I think that's cool to have like when you have multiple people on the same team, like everybody has a different like take on what happened.
So what was your take?
But when you say
your take, can we please hear your take?
But when you say oh shit, that's like panic.
It wasn't not a panic. It
so
was just
you're using the wrong word.
Oh crap!
Like,
is oh crap better for you?
No, it's still saying the same thing. It's just a different word.
It's not as much though. I took it down a notch for you. How much more you need me to take it down?
It's not that. It's just about like, dang, we lost. It's not oh shit. Oh shit's like.
Well, he panicked then.
So you're speaking for yourself then.
He's like, he was like, oh shit.
I'm gonna say it was no panic because like even when we lost to Georgia and the coaches, they were kind of like, I ain't gonna say they were spinning wheels a little bit, but they were like, but the locker room was like, we're good. Like on the bus ride back, like we lost, like no one was tripping. You know, we still quiet. You know,
yeah,
like,
you better be quiet.
Georgia, yes.
No,
yes.
like you know,
them we did say. But
he's speaking for himself right now. I don't know what he's talking about.
That's your side.
You know?
But after that, then it was just like, all right.
Yeah.
Like honestly, any loss Duke killed us, and we literally went back in that locker room, and we were just like.
They beat us. They
beat us like 18-3, 18.
No,
bro, it was like 18-9. They beat
it was 18 runs.
Bro, they put 18.
I was at the game.
I
was like, oh shit.
Why can I remember none of these?
You block that out. Sometimes you just gotta block those out.
18 on us, but we went back in there.
18 piece.
18, bro.
18 piece nugget.
Bro, I think we put freshmen in at the end of the game just to get out. We were like, bro,
sometimes, you know, you just gotta laugh those off.
18.
You gotta be like,
you're right.
But we went back in the locker room.
We weren't even phased.
Bro, we were bullshitting in the locker room. I was like, Corbin can't come down. Yes, we were. Yes, we were. Bro.
So we were not goofing off in the locker room.
I was.
We know you.
I 100%.
You were bold.
Actually,
the course had seen you.
You might be right.
Thank you.
You might be right.
Exactly.
It's like one of those losses where you get beat so bad that it's like, damn.
Yeah.
Oh, now you remember that.
I'm just saying, I'm not gonna say we were goofing. I'm saying it wasn't like tight. Like it's like one of those like at your locker, you just look at your person like, oh, we got our ass kicked.
Bro, everybody was just like, damn, they really beat our ass right there.
Like, dang. Like, and we weren't expecting that from them either. Like, we got that regional book. It was like, Duke. Like,
and Duke said we come to play.
Right? And they
They showed up.
You can't write people off, man.
Yeah.
That's what UCLA did that to us.
Yeah.
They put in a walk-on for their number 3 doubles.
The disrespect.
That had like never played really.
Yeah.
And we were like, huh, okay. And they lost. And we were just like, okay, that was weird. And then like the UCLA coach was speechless in her like post-match speech. Could not muster words. She was so flabbergasted that we were also speechless. Like we were also shook. But at the end of the day, like we just would stay out there as long as we needed to. Mm-hmm. We were like, we'll just let you beat yourself. Like we're not going to beat ourselves. Either you're going to beat us, we're going to beat you, or you're going to beat yourself. And UCLA wasn't going to do that.
Did y'all like as a team have like a pregame, or just you personally, like your pregame playlist, pregame music that, you know, got you going? Speak about that, and also just like your own personal routine to get ready for a match.
Yeah. We always had like at home. Well, every school has, I guess baseball would be the same, has like makes a playlist for like warm-ups and stuff. So like the girls control it and the guys. So like we would make our pregame mix, and then obviously it had to be scanned and make sure it was all clean and whatever. And then, but like it was our songs that we chose. But before that, or like after that, I would put in my headphones and like listen to my own stuff. That because like it has to be. To? Oh gosh, what was I listening to? Everything. Like sometimes it'd be rap, sometimes it'd be pop, sometimes it'd be Christian music, something like whatever I really felt that night.
I don't know, that's easy. Everybody got those 1 or 2 songs that they gotta listen to. Cause I was like,
I don't remember.
Wow,
they would change. Like that's what I'm saying. Like, because here I'm highly superstitious. Okay, so
I think
it would change. It would change. Yeah. A lot of times it was some sort of Kanye though.
Okay,
like would just really get me going. Yeah. But Here's I think I'm weird for this. I don't know. Y'all may have been the same. I would have a song going in my head throughout the match, like always. And then if I was losing, I had to change the song. And if the other song started to creep into my mind, I'd have to like, isn't that crazy? But also here's the thing y'all don't realize. You know, we played at the same time a lot at home. Yeah. We were listening to y'all's music. I knew who was at bat by the walk-up song. Yeah. Because every single match, I would hear, and I would know if y'all scored a run. I would know what happened by the crowd. Like, we were all like, oh, baseball's up. Or, oh, baseball's losing.
Was that distracting?
Not really. Just kind of get used to it. Yeah, I mean, also, we had the engineering building going up at the same time. So, like, you know, again, you just deal with it. Like, I think it's weak-minded if you're like, well, the baseball team distracted me. Now, our opponents were distracted by it. But it's just like, just deal with it. It's your environment. Adapt to it.
I think that's just
a student, like an athlete.
That, but also I'm just speaking on just like the silence, like being accustomed to silence. I think that's just because baseball, I think it's based on like the sport you play and what you're accustomed to. Because in baseball, if it's quiet, it's like, it's whack.
Yeah.
Like, it's weird. I enjoy playing at other people's ballparks.
Yeah.
1,000% of the time.
Murmur. There's always a murmur.
But that, and it's like they get more fans. It's more like it's a state school. And so the whole freaking city, a town is coming
Everybody's there.
Whereas Nashville, we got Broadway, we got the Press, we got so many different so many things you can do besides go to a Vandy baseball game. And so the only time it got really deep is like SEC middle towards the SEC because the front end still kind of cold a little bit, but you know.
Listen, when I was a student, I was out there in my blanket, and my big old coat.
Respect. Respect. Yeah, that's real.
Not always, but I came usually a Tuesday game. But a lot of times we would though.
You a real one for a Tuesday. If you was coming out there for Tuesday games, you a real one.
I bring my homework. I just set there. I connect to McGugan Wi-Fi still, and I just be doing my homework. It was nice to get out of study hall. I like baseball. Like again, my dad played. I like understand the game. So
people like that,
and I was friends with a lot of y'all. So you know, I was like, I want to support. Yeah. But the best would be in the spring after a match, and like y'all'd still be playing. We could just run on over because it's nice outside. Yeah. We'd be over there in our uniforms still, though, to catch the last like 2-3 innings. But yeah, but I mean, I guess okay. So back to my ritual.
Yeah.
So it would change kind of throughout the year, like of what I needed. But senior year was probably the most like rigid. I have a bad shoulder, and so I was like really band-aiding through the year. So I couldn't like serve multiple days a week. I couldn't practice as much. So I would go out for 30 minutes before warm-up and do the same drills like for the match, whether I was at home or away, and do that and then go back in and then warm up and then go. And like I'd have to sit in my locker, listen to my music, and then I would go pray and then go out. Nice, and that was like every single time.
Yeah. I guess I saw that you went to Serena's last match, or you were there for her last few matches.
I wasn't.
You weren't?
No. I was in New York.
You were in New York? Oh,
I was in New York. This was a really sad. Okay. So I was in New York for Fernanda.
Yeah.
Contreras was playing. And we have a donor that likes to take us up, you know, for the day a lot of times. And so he's great. We love him. And so he flew us up there and we went, and it was Serena's. Well, it was her first match of like the last one. And I saw Simone and she got to go, and I was jealous. And I don't know, I went back and forth. I was like, should I just buy a ticket and buy a hotel and fly myself home the next day? Because like we were only there for the day. I should have done it, but it is what it is. She says she's coming back.
Did you still watched it though?
I watched
like,
on the plane
TV?
on my phone.
Got
Yeah.
you.
We were like at LaGuardia, and I was just like, it's right there. I'm so close.
Who's coming back?
Serena says she's coming back.
She's back. When did she say that?
She literally has said in an interview. You'll have to go Google it.
I swear her.
I swear they was going crazy over the last one.
I know.
I was going crazy. I was watching going crazy. I was so hot when she lost. Oh, I was so hot.
I was sobbing.
Bro, I was hot. I was hot.
Cool.
Yeah. So I don't know. Who knows? I don't think she should. I'm like, Serena, honey, like, just be done. But I get it. When I was done, I came back like 2 times.
I'm gonna say, before I ask about like the professional, like everybody can talk about balancing sports and friendships, relationships. Like, how have you done that? Like,
oh boy, it's hard because, like I said, growing up, I was gone all the time. I missed a lot of birthday parties. I missed a lot of school functions, all that in elementary school and high school. I actually felt like pretty lonely in high school because I went to a private school. I went to CPA, Christ Presbyterian Academy, which they're awesome. Thank you so much for everything you did for me. But I came in as the new girl in 9th grade. It's a K through 12 school. So a lot of people are in the 13-year club. You know, they go their whole time. They're all friends. They're all doing stuff all the time. Like, a great thing about CPA was there's a ton of stuff to do after school, like clubs and games and dances and all that stuff, which is fun. But I couldn't do that. Like, my social time was like at school. And I would go to the things I could go to, but you know, I missed out on a lot. And I think at the time I felt like nobody liked me, but my mom would always tell me this, and I see it now. Like, people, they're kids, right? We're all kids. They assumed I couldn't go. Yeah. So it was a lot of like, and they would say that. They would be like, oh, I'm sorry. Like, we just thought you'd be at a tournament, or we just thought you'd be at practice. And I get it. Like, I'm not mad at it, but like, I felt like I didn't have a lot of friends in high school, which was like the whole point of going. But I had really, like, some of my very best friends to this day are from tennis. Like, I'm in a girl's wedding in June. That was the tennis. She's from Atlanta. Like, and they're all from different parts of the country, but we saw each other every weekend because we were all at the same tournaments. So that was kind of who like my core friends were growing up, and like my friends from church and things like that, who I had grown up with forever. But I'll forever be thankful for, there's a couple girls who were not tennis players, but never stopped inviting me to things, even though I said no a lot of the time. And just supported me. And like, it just means the absolute world to me. And I tell them all the time, I'm like, you guys stuck through me when it was really hard. And you were better friends to me than I could be to you just by showing up. Like, I couldn't be there a lot, but you never missed my birthday party. You never missed whatever. And in college, it was a lot easier because, I mean, sadly, I was mostly friends with athletes. Like, I wish I was friends with more non-athletes, but everybody, we all just got it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's just a lot easier because you didn't have to explain it. So yeah, I mean, and there are people from my high school who were great, and they were all extremely supportive, like truly. And they were so happy for me. And they would always ask me how my tournament was and things like that. But you know, it's lonely when you're 15 years old and you don't get asked to the dance, or you don't get whatever, because they just think you're going to be
gone.
Yeah. So,
I mean, it's a sacrifice. I think everybody's got me so much stuff because of baseball, but it got me to where I wanted to be.
Absolutely.
And so I have no
I don't regret it.
at all. You know, but just in terms of like college and like balancing, you know, between academics, between baseball being a full-time job, and just, you know, the whole relationship and friendship thing, most people that I talk to this day are from college. You know, I lost a lot of people on the way. It's not on purpose. It's just, we just different lanes, you know, like if I see him, it's still gonna be like we never lost a beat. Yeah. You know, but it's just like it's tough to keep that communication, you know, even with parents. My dad, he didn't care, but like my mom, she called me all the time, like I can't talk, you know. Yeah. Like, I'm in study hall, I'm at the field, you know. And so it's different in terms of like, in just relationships too, in terms of relationships. Yeah.
Oh, listen, I didn't date in college.
Yeah, I didn't either. I think it's,
no.
I think it works if they understand.
Mm-hmm.
They have because we on 2 different schedules.
Here's my thing,
tough.
And y'all,
but you didn't date because you ugly.
not boo.
Damn.
Damn, bro.
Look, I'm laughing because I didn't expect that to come from him.
I
expect him to say that stuff, man.
He's soft spoken, but he's funny.
No,
He's not funny.
He just had to lay it out like
He's not good looking.
No, the truth.
Listen,
we not gonna do that, okay?
The truth hurts sometimes.
I straight up was like, I am not putting a guy before tennis. Yeah. Like my whole life. Hey. Like truly.
You can't.
I just I was like, I can't. And then, one of my friends, I'm not gonna put her on blast, but she was the same. Mm-hmm. And then she met her now husband and she like started putting him before the sport a little bit towards the end of like her career. And we were like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, what do you no? And she was like, he's the one. And they got a kid and they're good now. But we were like, what? Like, it just never crossed my mind. I never met somebody that was going to come between me and tennis. And I don't regret that because I would not have gotten to where I was without it. And it's like, now, whatever, but.
Don't do it to him.
Okay.
Don't look over here.
I mean, you came in with a girlfriend.
And that one didn't end well.
Yeah, you dated in college.
Yeah.
I did.
I mean...
She understood.
She understood. It was cool.
She had her stuff. I had my stuff.
You did a little
That's
bit
the dream.
So
right
we're
there.
just going to act like you didn't date in college?
I did date in college. I graduated with no girlfriend. That's a fact.
I mean, we all liked people. Like, we all like...
So you weren't liking somebody in particular right before you left school?
Hey, brother. Hey, brother, hold on.
Like, you gonna sit here and bold-faced lie.
Bro, in my 4 years, I actually like 2 people.
But you didn't seriously date.
I didn't date them. I'm saying
You got really...
I'm speaking.
You might as well have been dating at that point.
Can you let me speak?
Go ahead, bro. Keep lying. Go ahead.
I'm saying that's the truth. I like 2 people, all my 4 years, seriously,
Good for you.
and because I am in college and whatnot, I decided not to pursue those women.
I just have one question.
And then after Omaha and whatnot, then that's when I decided to, hey, let me give this a shot.
Yeah.
Now that college is done.
Yeah. College.
College is done.
Okay.
Freshly done, all right. I guess that's sorry. I guess.
Yeah.
So you didn't go on a double date with me and 2 other people.
That's different, bro.
No. Not a relationship.
That was the same person.
Okay.
Yeah, but that's not a relationship.
Thank you.
You were in a full-on relationship.
Yeah.
Not at that point.
Not at that point, but
like
that
in
following
college.
semester, you were in a full relationship in college. I couldn't do it. She took you out the game.
Before you get out of here, I want to talk about, ask you about Vanderbilt Hall of Fame.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And it happened quick, too.
You on another
Real quick.
Yeah.
You on another
y'all want to know what my
quick.
grandpa said to me when I called him? I FaceTimed him. My grandma's like, oh my gosh. My grandpa goes, are you dying?
Oh,
damn.
Because he was like, why are you getting so early?
Yeah.
I said, listen, I don't know. I didn't choose this.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was early.
So they called, the Eve called you, let you know, like.
So it's a Saturday night. I'm sitting on my couch watching TV. It's like 6 p.m. Yeah. Candace calls me. I'm like, why is Candace Lee calling me on a Saturday night? Yeah. I said, hey, what's up?
Yeah.
She's like, hey, how are you? Just chatting. I'm like, did she just call me to like chat? Like, cool, love her. Like, I always just chat with her. But then she was like, oh, well, I was asking her how like work is going. How's it being the AD, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, well, I get to do cool things like this. And my heart just dropped. I don't know. I didn't think Hall of Fame. Like, I don't know what I thought, And she said, like, I would like to let you know you're going to be inducted into the Vanderbilt Athletics Hall of Fame.
Come on now.
And I said, are you joking? And she was like, well, that would be really mean. I said, it would, Candace. It would be really mean.
Somehow do it with hair.
I couldn't speak. Like, I started crying because she then told me that David Williams was going in with me. And I had a good relationship with him and really close with Gail, his wife, still today. And so that, like, that was, I think, honestly, that was the coolest part of the whole thing, was that I got to go in with him. And
that's true.
For those who don't know, he had passed away tragically, so he was in posthumously. But yeah, it was shocking. And then I tried to call my family. Like we have a family group chat, so I tried to like group FaceTime everyone. And my brother was like, I'm in a movie, stop calling me. My mom was like, I'm with friends. So my dad's the only one that answered. And I was like,
damn.
I was like, are you kidding me? This is like the biggest news of my entire life. And so I told my dad, and we were really happy together. And then my mom called me like an hour later, still with them. And I was like, well, Mom, like, I got to tell you something. And she's like, oh, but it's just so-and-so and so-and-so, like good family friends. I said, okay, well, they can't tell anybody, because I knew a whole week early. Like we couldn't say anything really. And so I told them, and she started crying, and they all started crying. And then finally my brother came home, because he was living with me at the time.
Yeah.
And he was like, what? You should have told me. I was like, I wasn't going to text that to you in the movie theater. So, I didn't get the whole big like family celebration I had envisioned. But no, it was just like, I still don't know what to say about it. It's like crazy. Like, I don't feel like I should be there. I don't know.
I mean, the resume speaks for itself. You definitely need to be in there, and you are in there if you didn't realize.
I am in there. I had big imposter syndrome that weekend, though. I was like, holy crap. Like, the people I went in with, have y'all seen that list? They were like breaking barriers. I was like, oh, golly.
You just won the first natty.
You did that too.
I did. But I mean, like Walter Overton. I mean, some of these football players like came in the 60s, 70s. Like, they were playing when like it was impossible.
Yeah.
Which was so cool. I mean, that was, I think, one of the coolest things too, hearing them speak about their experiences, right? And we talk about diversity, like them coming to Vanderbilt and how their families reacted, and how their families were like, you're going to go play there at that white school and blah, blah. And they're like, yeah, I want to play football in the SEC. Yeah. And they just did it. And how it was a struggle, but how they grew from it, and like how they can inspire people today. I mean, it's just really, that was really, really cool.
Well,
damn.
Appreciate you stopping by the
Hall
crib.
of Famer.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Crib, Sydney Campbell. Like, comment, subscribe, all that on YouTube, and follow her on Instagram at
Sydney Elise C. It's ELYSE for Elise.
All right,
You got it there.
There it is.
We'll see y'all.
Peace.